Hello and welcome to our update of the week's action from the Singer Schools League here on the Papare.com. And what a weekend we've had this weekend. It was close games all the way through. We had 4 matches, 3 of them went right down to the wire. One of course was a one-sided victory for Royal, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's talk about the other games first. First up we had Kingswood who take on Trinity in an all-Candy match, and Trinity were not playing in their home grounds. They were not playing at Paldakale. They went to Bogambara to play the unbeaten Kingswoodians, and unfortunately for Kingswood, they are not unbeaten any longer because Trinity waited until the last possible moment to score the winning try. Late in the game, it was 24 points to 20 in favour of the Kingswood boys, and they thought they had managed to pull this one out from under the feet of the Trinitians, but Trinity had just one last gasp attack waiting for them, and it ended up 27 points to 24. Even if the try was not converted, Trinity would still have won 25 points to 24. So it was an outstanding game of rugby, and Trinity hung in there till the last, and it was really a very courageous show from them to come back and score in the last possible moment. But Kingswood showed that they still have what it takes to bring down these superpowers, and let's wait and see whether they're able to do that next time around when it comes to Pathana, but unlikely because they will be feeling quite deflated after this defeat against Trinity, because they would have wanted to go into the last week of the season rather, still able to get a chance to win the league title. So a great showing from Kingswood this season, but coming a cropper against a team that was probably a little bit fitter, a little bit stronger, and had a little bit more left on the bench than this Kingswood College side did. So 27 points to 24, a last gasp victory, a thrilling match in Kandy for all those who were privileged enough to witness it live. The next game we have to talk about is Isipathana versus St. Peter's game, another cracking encounter. Isipathana, as they do, sometimes go to sleep against the better sides, and they went into a lead at half-time by 20 points to 13, and as a result of that, I think they thought they had the game sewn up. They thought Peters will not be able to come back, but Kevin Dixon inspired a comeback, and unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to get his hat-trick, but they still managed to score 2 tries in the second half, and it was a 12 points to 5 outscoring of Isipathana in the second half that led to that draw, 25 points all, which Peters were very happy with. For Isipathana, it's as good as a loss because they're now going to the last week of the season and needing to really win against Kingswood. Anything better than that won't be very good for them to have the control of that points table right to the end of the season. So let's wait and see how that one turns out. But another cracking encounter, tries early on in the game, largely thanks to the nerves not settling, largely thanks to defenses not being as good as they should have been in those first few minutes. Coaches would have been tearing their hair out, but as a result of the end-to-end stuff, we had a game that went right down to the wire once again, and with the last kick of the game, St. Peter's able to equalize. So stories of 2 sides that didn't give up until the very, very last minute, and that one of them was Trinity and the other one was St. Peter's. Trinity came away with a win, but for St. Peter's College it was as good as a win, drawing with the unbeaten Isipathana team that had done so many good things throughout this tournament so far. So for Isipathana, they now have a draw. They haven't lost their unbeaten tag, but they do have a draw with that 25-all result against the Peterites. Next game we had on the cards was St. Joseph's versus Science College. That was another cracking game. 23 points to 20 was how that one finished, but this time the leaders actually managed to hold on to that lead, and they held on to a 23 points to 20 lead despite the fact that St. Joseph's came back really strongly in the last few moments of that game. And unfortunately for St. Joseph's, there was a red card issued to Tariq Salih, who is one of their key forwards for the St. Joseph's team. And on video evidence, it looks very much like the red card should probably have gone, if indeed it was a red card offence, should probably have gone to Vimukti Rahula. But unfortunately, the disciplinary committee of the school's Rugby Football Association has decided not to rescind the red card for Tariq Salih, and he will miss the next match, the Lady Jajalika Shield against St. Thomas's, which means pretty much that his season may be over at the moment. So that's an unfortunate mistake that occurred to deprive a schoolboy of his right to play a game, but regardless of that, it was a bad discipline by St. Joseph. They should have known that they were on the line, that they needed to keep that discipline. They needed to make sure that since they had Science College under the cosh, that they didn't make any mistakes of their own while they were on offence. But unfortunately that didn't happen, and referee Irshad Carter says his hand was forced to give that red card. So we'll have to wait. The jury is out on that one, whether it was a deserved red card or not. You can watch the video on the papare.com replays and see for yourself whether it was or not. So 23 points to 20 Science, managing to hold out against St. Joseph's, who didn't bring their A game to the park. They've always had some talented players in every match this season, but not being able to click as a unit, and that's something that has gone against them, against a hard-running team like Science College, who have some good ball carriers like Ishan Viraj and Madhushankar, who scored some tries in this game as well. They have been outstanding with the limited resources and the limited set piece that they have. So I think despite possessing a strong lineup and a strong scrum, St. Joseph's not being able to beat Science College is more of St. Joseph's fault really than any fault of the referees. Then we had the fourth and final match of the weekend, and that was the Royal Thormian, of course. And if Royal played the way they did in the Royal Thormian in the Rugby, I dare say they might have even won those games. They were very physical, and they are rolling more work to perfection. They didn't try to overcomplicate things too much. Their defensive line-out jumping was excellent, and that forward pack really fashioned the win for the Royal College team. It was 36 points to 17, Royal running up 6 tries, but St. Thomas's will be consoled by the fact that they actually did get on the scoreboard. They scored 3 tries, and that was more than they managed to score against a lot of other teams so far. So they'll be happy with their 17-point effort, this young team. But nevertheless, still some errors creeping into the play, and the players not being encouraged to maintain their discipline, joining the rolling maul from the side, trying to defend the rolling maul from the side. Scrum penalties also not being very easy to judge for us here on the outside. So that's something that really needs to improve, and coaches need to get stuck in to their players to make sure that discipline is something that they maintain right throughout. But Royal, playing a very physical game, managed to overpower the Thormians by 36 points to 17. It was a very good showing by them on the day. So watch out for them in the knockout tournament. If they're playing the brand of rugby they're playing right now, playing to their strengths, then they might be able to beat the likes of Isipathana and Trinity and St. Peter's, whom they came very, very close to. And in fact, they beat Peters in the league tournament as well. So we'll have to wait and see what they will bring to the knockout tournament. So those were the games. An outstanding weekend of rugby. 3 really, really close games. And I think we're going to go even better next week, especially in those 2 big games that we have. St. Peter's will be confident ahead of taking on Trinity College, and of course Kingswood College will be a little deflated after their loss, but they know that if they manage to beat Isipathana, they might just be able to bring the league title back to Kandy. It might not be to Kingswood, but it might actually be to Trinity. So will they do their hometown lads a favour and beat Isipathana? We'll have to wait and see, but Isipathana is still my favourites to walk out with the unbeaten tag for the year 2014. But let's wait and see. That's what the final weekend of the league is for. Make sure you join us live and exclusive on thepaparade.com, and of course you can tune into our replays and of course our updates on the following week. So that's it for us for now, and make sure you join us on the weekend on thepaparade.com.